focused around that bottom lane, and specifically these marksman-style champions, even though Ashe is mostly played as a support. But Annie is still left up, and that is one of the things FlyQuest is contemplating here. Irelia, the only ban not focused on bottom lane here in the first half, as FlyQuest locks the Annie in.
And Annie, of course, is definitely a flex pick right now, mid or support. The best roles for it currently. I do want to note as well, Aurelion Sol is available.
He's around. I think he's still got some weird bugs and stuff, so who knows what happens if he gets locked in.
Till they pop up. It's fine. Completely fine. Play the Galaxy Dragon. So one thing here that really boosted Aphelios coming back, and I like the hover already from CLG, they're wasting no time, was that Thresh also got buffs. So people are already starting to play Aphelios since the little passive buffs, which weren't buffs to generic Aphelios power. It is buffs to Aphelios choices here. Okay. Previously, you're always taking lethality on Aphelios on the level ups. Now, the attack speed is more competitive than it was previously, so you can actually have a choice. If your opponents have a lot of tanks and you want to go attack speed, you're not turbo-inting your build by avoiding lethality now. That's all really the Aphelios buffs, but what really got him back in are the Thresh buffs, where you always want to have some extra mobility here. The Lantern, so critical for this champion, and now Thresh has a lot more playmaking, got more damage, you know, Q and W feeling quite good, so I'm excited to see here Poome locking that in and the instant response of the Xayah Rakan duo.
I love when Thresh is popular because he's such a skill-expressive champion that players can do so many cool things on. So
is that locked? Is that insta-lock?
Yeah,
baby? That's insta-locked! Yes!
That's locked! First game on the patch, the first game with them enabled, and the Star Dragon is here, baby.
I love you, Palafox. I do. Nice pick there, Christian. I'm so happy we don't have to waste any time. We can get right into some Aurelian Soul. Super excited to see the matchup versus Annie, since both of these champions do have really big roaming power. Problem is, Annie's going to have priority roaming early on, and Aurelian Soul is going to try and collect as much Stardust, clearing up the waves with Q and E as possible. So we'll see about the early levels if Vicla is able to get off some early Annie roams and make some plays, possibly with Spica. So I'm definitely looking at jungle champions next. And we're already starting to whittle down here. Sejuani trying to deny the Sejuani plus melee top lane champion for Dhokla. That has been something CLG have gone to over and over. Really strong start to the season with Contractz playing a bunch of Sejuani and Dhokla on those carries. And CLG kind of responding with what has become one of the most top lane picks. The Renekton has reared its head again on this patch and will be banned out here. So no generic Renekton for Impact.
A strong laner with a point-and-click CC. He just always finds his way back into relevance, no matter how many times he ends up getting nerfed. But yeah, they're going to focus on that, so not explicit jungle focus in the second half of the draft here from CLG. Gwen going to be banned away now too from FlyQuest, so half jungle, half top for both sides. CLG still has to pick their jungler. They still have to pick their top laner. I would guess that they are going to leave top lane for last to try to get counterpick for Dhokla, try to allow him to play that matchup as aggressively and as comfortably as he wants.
If you're saving your counterpick for jungle, that better be some crazy jungle.
Yeah, it better be wild. It better be Skarner.
That better be some crazy team countering jungle champ. But there's that Lee Sin that we mentioned as well. Flowers, I feel like everything we lay out that we're dreaming for on this patch,
it's coming in.
CLG are jumping on it really early, and this is something we have always given credit to CLG as a team, as an organization for, is trying to jump on new patches as quickly as possible and utilize them. So Contractz Lee Sin, see what he can get done here. You talked about playmaking with Thresh.
Yeah.
Thresh and Lee Sin are two of the most iconic, well-designed champions that have stood the test of time.
Yes, sir.
In League of Legends. And they're pairing him with some of the newest in Aurelian Soul. Vylock in here for FlyQuest. Always love that versus Aphelios. As much a bonus as it is to have Lantern on your team, you're always looking for Annie plus Rakan plus Vi. Turbo hard engage on that Aphelios. Kill him before he's able to dish out the damage, before he's able to stack up the chakrams. And FlyQuest have very, very clearly pointed at turbo hard engage. We are a dive composition, and they've got Prince with the Xayah, the counter dive champion, one of the safest AD carries that you possibly can draft. So Actually really liking the FlyQuest side of this one, even though the individual parts of this CLG draft have so much skill expression in them.
And the final part of that CLG draft will be the Olaf there for the top lane. Lord, I hope it's the top lane. I don't want to see no more Lee Sin top. That's just not...
Yeah, I mean, technically,
that's not what I want.
They can swap them here, baby. They are swappable. They are flexible, but Olaf is good into Ksante, so no reason to swap that out. And the only caveat here is that now Contractz on the Lee Sin gonna worry about both side lanes. There's so many possibilities, and that does raise the stakes as far as that roaming from mid lane mini game that we brought up early between Annie and Aurelion Sol. So we'll see. Jungle's passing through mid lane to help them push out, even just getting.
Alrighty, the camera is on Aurelian Soul, so let's go ahead and talk about him. For those of y'all that missed what was going on during the analyst desk discussion about, I called it the wrong name again. Okay, hold on, whatever.
You know what? I approve of that name. It's fine.
Anyway,
whatever we want.
Aurelian Soul's abilities all scale off of the passive Stardust. So early on, like Raz was talking about, he's going to want to execute those lane minions, try to build that up, and enhance all of the abilities. Breath of Light, that Q is going to get more damage based on how much Stardust he collects. Everything else gets increased range or AoE, with the E also getting extra execution threshold as he stacks it up.
Yeah, and the biggest thing to me too is in tracking the Stardust is when you get to charge up your ultimate, 75 stacks there, you get the glowing ultimate, turns your meteor, your rock, into a much bigger rock to have a big ol' aftershock in the Sky's Descend. And you can make some really big plays if you save that for a dragon fight, for a Herald fight. It's kind of like Corki, except that you get to stack it up yourself.
Right.
And you can actually time it yourself. So don't have to play around any of those recharge timers. You can just stack up your Stardust, save your ultimate for the big objective that you want to have the huge impact on, and see if they can actually coordinate that one. Meanwhile, though, Annie still super, super strong, super powerful with, of course, all of the older buffs to the shield and the extra speed. Always a playmaking champ that you're looking to roam from mid lane on, and so that's why we're looking at mid jungle duos here as well. I've got a quick quiz for you on Aurelion Soul.
All right, what do you got, buddy?
Since we're one of the earliest on this new patch and it hasn't been picked yet around, as far as at least Game of Legends as of right now, data hasn't been updated. But when was the last time Aurelion Soul was picked in pro play, and for bonus points, who was it?
It had to be Huhi back like 5 years
Ding,
ago.
ding, ding. You get your bonus points first.
Okay, so Huhi played it, I'm going to guess back in like 2018.
2019.
Damn it, I was close.
Pretty dang close.
That's better than I thought I would do, if I'm being honest with you.
Good old Huhi LCS Spring 2019. The classic. But Palafox going to take a spin around on the new version. And you talked about the stacking up. Of course, you're also starting the tier. So gonna be a while.
Nice little hook from Poome there in the bottom side. And especially with Annie versus Aurelion Soul here, it's kind of like the oldest, most basic mid laner design with one of the newest, more complicated mid laner designs going head to head here. I think that's pretty fun. I mean, Annie's like one of the most simple champions in all of League of Legends.
Yeah.
I have an AoE. I have a point and click. My ult is also an AoE. And then Aurelion Soul, you have to read an entire book report.
It's funny because too, even Annie got kind of retro. There we go. We got a gank on top side. Early ghost from Dhokla, gets out of the range of the Vault Breaker.
Will he actually escape, though? Very, very low. Very, very dead. First blood over to FlyQuest.
Nice little move here from Spica. He stops off, skips blue plus Gromp. Easily able to recognize the lane state around you, and they communicate here. No way for Dhokla to get out of this one. He's running the Ghost alone on top side, so first jungler up there. And with Spica starting bottom side, both of them starting on their reds, he's able to get up there for the first visit. Big Dokes in the dirt. And the kill credit going over to the Vi, I actually really like. Meanwhile, though, Contractz coming down bottom side with the Aurelion Soul, the first of the mid laners to roam.
Remember, the Astral Flight can take him over the terrain, so now they're ready for the dive, but Poome's taking a lot of damage. FlyQuest, 2v4. They're out playing it. They bring down the third man. Hook over the wall, not going to find much other than a minion, as CLG did not have that play out the way they wanted.
Yeah, and neither did Vicla. With the Annie flash is one of the most important flashes in the game. Being able to get that flash giant AoE stun off, but Vicla goes for the super thick part of the wall and shorts it. Face plant.
Little unlucky, but
So-
hey, they avoided a dive, they avoided a death on a 4-man play. It was pretty good there at the start. Contractz going right back in. Prince is the target, but Contractz knows he can't just stick around. Prince and Eyla feeling good.
So off of that roam, both mid laners using their teleports, so Palafox will now have the early push again. You constantly got to keep checking in on this mid lane priority to look at who's going to be first to move. Vicla used the basically Uno reverse card there of the teleport. I can follow one of these roams even if you get there first with the early teleport, but does cost a little bit to get shoved in. Palafox now with the flash advantage, and the Stardust sitting at 18 right now. We'll have some constant check-ins.
Yep, he's going to go ahead and use that singularity to farm up one melee minion there. Unfortunately, the other two not quite at the threshold there for him. Remember that the W, the Astral Flight for Aurelion Soul, does have a pretty long cooldown. It's not your damaging ability, so you're going to level it up very late, so it's going to stick around at like, 25, 26 seconds for a very long time.
Yeah, and you can only get it shorter if you get a takedown while you're going for a big play, so I really like that reward structure for Aurelion Soul. If you go in to combat with your W trying to make a really big play, then getting the actual takedown can allow you to get out afterwards, getting that partial refresh and majority reset there.
I just love how he can breathe fire while he flies. He feels like a real dragon from like out of Skyrim.
Yeah, it's a nice little rework there. The fantasy is well designed. Contract's going to come over a ward as Annie now level 6. Definitely have to be careful about Vicla's combo potential here with Tibbers, and they're going to make a big play off that mid push. Vicla pushed in 2 waves to the turret, which Aurelion Soul does not want to drop, so nice bit of priority here from FlyQuest turned into an objective.
Yeah, nice early Drake before that 8-minute mark, which means there's no Herald to be traded for it across on the other end of the map. So FlyQuest are happy to secure themselves a free neutral objective. It means that if they keep on this pace, they'll also be able to try to play for an early Drake Soul if CLG can't stop it. Gold's still pretty close overall, but FlyQuest loving the way things are going early on.
And for Spica, we were talking about him getting that first blood money. I actually love when Vi gets the first blood money. This champion has such a good build available to her right now, even though the majority of solo queue players are not actually utilizing it. Eyla here is going to have to give up on his control ward hopes for now, as Contractz shows.
So what is this build then, sir?
So the build is Black Cleaver Rush because it got buffed, super efficient, extra 50 health and 5 attack damage on it is a very good rush item, into the Radiant Virtue. And a lot of people don't like building super tanky like that, but it is so powerful, especially for pro, and even has a much higher win rate in solo queue if you go that, because then you can just engage to your heart's content and create so much space for your team to follow up, getting a lot of ability haste as well, which Vi super benefits from, as well as maxing W second is actually a lot better than E, which a lot of people are still doing the E seconds, because your attack speed is so easily procs when you have so much ability haste that you can just get your E resets there. Being able to get those big W procs provides you that neutral objective control, being able to stack up those dragons and control the Rift Heralds like Spica's already doing for FlyQuest.
Plus, with the W combined with Black Cleaver, it's so much armor shred, and especially when you have an AD carry like Prince that you know you can trust to do the damage like that. Armor shred will feel fine, but Prince don't even need it. 2v2. FlyQuest get a kill on bot side.
Yeah, we got a little quick switch there on the gold graph as Prince racks up the kill, overtakes Luger, and the bottom brush camp. Instant death. Nice little job there by Eyla. Level 6 on the Rakan now. Did use his Ignite, and CLG trying to make the cross-map play.
Well, unfortunately for CLG, FlyQuest did not commit any extra men to the bot side play. It was a 2v2 fair fight, so FlyQuest still has 3 guys ready to play around this Herald, potentially try to contest it. Impact's gonna go into the pit first, but Poome has roam. He is the first bottom laner from either side to make his way into the fight. Spica's ready to go for it, and FlyQuest steals it away. Now Contractz has to flash back over the wall. Vicla's gonna be taken low, and Dhokla takes him down. FlyQuest is still fighting, looking for a second one here back in the Contractz. Prince has arrived. The dragon flies away, and Poome tries to run it. Can he get out? Luger's ready to back him up as Spica takes a lot of damage, and Impact goes underneath the turret to slay a dragon. FlyQuest 5-1.
Flowers. FlyQuest just blew this game wide open. It's 9 minutes in, and that's just a catastrophe for CLG.
Yeah.
They get annihilated at the Herald. The Herald is also stolen. As Vi, you're always looking to go in and ult the enemy jungler and then smite steal away. Spica is able to grab it. They pick up the eyeball on Eyla, so a little bit of the plate money will be shared with the Rakan, but that is completely fine because look at the aftermath. In the back of the pit, they absolutely annihilate Contractz. He gets chunked down to 200 health here. He's forced to flash out, but then goes back in to try and get the kick here. Dies again as well. Impact with the ultimate onto Palafox is able to chase him down with Ksante on the Ghost. Chases him for the full tower dive in. FlyQuest with a massive gold lead. Both neutral objectives to start out the game as well, and huge momentum to work with.
It's so tough.
And there's the Black Cleaver completed.
From this point, yeah. Vi has her first out 2-0-2, 4 out of 5 KP. Black Cleaver done 10 minutes into the game. This is the Vi dream game, man. You could not ask for a better start than what Spica's doing right here.
Certainly is. Certainly is. And if he goes Radiant Virtue afterwards too, you're so tanky, you can just initiate on this Aphelios over and over and over. You know that Poome and Impact have your back. And the full dive here from FlyQuest must feel so nice. When you get an early lead on a full dive comp, then all you know is move forward. And they're doing just that into the enemy jungle, trying to take away some of this vision, trying to take away some of those resources.
Man, when you're ahead on the full dive comp, you are the main characters and they are the trash mobs. Your job is to farm them up and make sure you just steamroll the rest of the game. Palafox going to continue trying to farm up, clear out these waves mid. You can see his tier about 2/3 of the way stacked here, working up towards having that all the way maximized. But a 3,000 gold deficit means stacking up the tier is not going to be enough. CLG are going to need to find some sort of an angle, some sort of a place somewhere. 15 seconds until the next Drake spawns. And I feel like you don't want to take a fight in open ground right now if you're CLG. They're just very far behind. They're going in bottom, looking for another play here. Eyla and Spica trying to stay on top of Luger, who has to flash away. And Spica just breaks his jaw. 6-1 FlyQuest.
They dropped 3 wards on that lantern and had 2 bodies. So you are not clicking that lantern. And he does drop Tibbers for a huge chunk in health onto Palafox, but my goodness. Made that lantern look so incredibly useless there. 2 bodies, 3 wards. Rift Herald dropped on the bottom side too. All of the plate money is actually gonna go to Rakan because nobody else is around. So Ayla's getting rich. Everybody on FlyQuest is eating well tonight. Actually, Xayah there splitting as well. Prince finishes off the turret by himself.
Poome and Contractz trying to contest here for the Drake, see if they can find anything. Vicla's gonna rotate over. Remember, he chunked Palafox down earlier. Spica just taunting him with the white flag. He's saying, get out of here, man. There's just nothing left. It looks like CLG has just completely lost any sort of control here in the game. Impact uses the all out to disengage from the Ragnarok Olaf. It just takes Ksante through the wall, gets him away from the Olaf instead. Man, 5,000 gold. Both Drakes, first Herald,
so
they got everything.
Yeah, that's actually the answer to the question. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The immovable exactly. The immovable object does not move. Ragnarok pop by Olaf gets to stay there. Ksante goes flying. Meanwhile, I just feel like sometimes there's trash talk that's just too real to be funny. You know, the white flag going up right now. Spica was trying to taunt them. Is a little too close to home. It's a 5.3k gold lead with 2 dragons. FlyQuest and Spica know that they have such a massive lead right now.
Yeah.
You can kick back. Lean back in the chair, crank that sucker back. This is looking like just follow the checklist, keep forcing fights on objectives. And what you want to actually do to increase the pace of the game in this point is to force more mini objectives of yourself.
Okay.
The jungle camps are all little mini objectives that you can take away from your opponents. You can see right now, taking away all the vision to make the rotations between those much more difficult for CLG, much more costly, and they just bring everybody up to this outer tower.
Oh no, Palafox. That poor little dragon, I don't think he's going much of anywhere. Falling Star isn't going to do a thing. Spica goes unstoppable. FlyQuest easily pick up the kill. And with turret plating falling, it means they're going to try to strong-arm this turret now as well. Poome and Contractz still just trying to defend. They might be able to kill Tibbers. Contractz down to 1/3 HP. However, the box is deployed. Prince goes up. Prince comes right back down. He's all right. Contractz, not quite the same. Has to fall back to the Krugs, trying to heal. Prince is going to get jumped on there, but it's him who ends up walking away with the money. Poome thought he was making a play, but he's just delivering 300 gold into the FlyQuest AD carry's pocket.
Yeah, they're getting strong-armed on both sides here. Everybody returning. Spica comes back as well. Look at the 1-3-1. Impact's going to finish up on the mid turret by himself, uncontested. Meanwhile, Annie down bottom side is actually facing the Olaf and might get collapsed on here for Dhokla, so he's got to get out of there.
The FlyQuest support is currently tied in a mortal battle with the CLG mid laner for who has the most money. That is the current state of the game. I never like saying it this early because we only just saw plates fall a minute ago, but CLG needs a mistake from FlyQuest. They are just way too far ahead.
It's okay. This is our warm-up game at the beginning of the day here.
This is the warm-up game. Okay.
CLG's looking around like, okay, so warmed up on stage. Let's.
Yeah, all right.
You guys ready to fight FlyQuest? Let's start up the real match.
Yeah. This is the practice lobby.
This was the practice lobby to test out Aurelion Sol, right?
Right. Yeah.
Testing complete.
Well, unfortunately, I don't know if Aurelian Soul is passing the test.
Oh, and they run the coming up next.
Oh, they're already going next.
Evil
man.
Genius's production is ready to get the day started as well.
Well, it's probably going to happen pretty soon based on the current state of the game and the current way things are progressing. Prince has been left up here in the top side to take down the tier 1 turret. Dhokla has his Ravenous Hydra to try to at least clear some of this away. However, with the turret already down, that means Big Dokes has to pop the Ragnarok just to get away from Eyla and Prince, who would have got the kill if he didn't use that.
They surely would have. All right, Hopium, massive Hopium, Copium,
Okay.
CLG, objective bounties, flowers.
They're gonna need about 7 of them.
The tiers stacking up for that Aurelion Soul. Oh, where's our Stardust check-in? Here, that's what we can do.
Yeah.
Stardust check-in, baby. Ooh, charged
129.
up ultimate.
Okay.
Do you know what the charged up ultimate is called?
The
for
Skies
Aurelion Soul?
Descend.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Did
I
your
my
homework before,
man.
baby.
I did my
Prepping up
homework.
on the new patch. It's a rank 2, the Skies Descend.
And
It
remember,
will release the big shockwave.
Yep.
You can steal objective bounties with it as well. You can actually kill epic monsters with the shockwave. So CLG, here we go.
this Skies Descend is going to need to have an absolutely earth-shattering
It's gonna have to be
impact
as big
to
as the
anything.
meteor that killed off the dinosaurs.
Yeah. The dragon needs to kill all the dinosaurs if CLG wants any sort of a chance here in this game. 7,500 gold, the lead for FlyQuest. The next Drake spawning in 25 seconds. Remember, they already secured the first 2, their sole point. If they get this one as well, Contractz goes in after Prince, and he's just immediately down to 1% HP. Impact's coming around looking to finish him off, and there it is. FlyQuest are not done yet. Eyla has to disengage, but it's a double kill back over to the top laner, as now Impact is keeping everybody here. Vicla goes into the dive underneath the turret, and Spica takes down Aurelion Soul. FlyQuest has killed 3. They put the remaining 2 on life support, and they aren't even sweating doing it.
They can probably pick up about 3 objectives at the same time. Let's go. Push mid, push bottom, and pick up dragon all at the same time here for FlyQuest. Only 17 minutes into this game. Flowers, we already got to check in with stats. What's our fastest game of the split? Because this one is cruising for a bruising.
FlyQuest are just really good at some League of Legends, man. Let's take another look at this one. It was Contractz trying to jump on Prince here at the start.
Yeah, goes in for the kick play here. Flashes to try and get it off, but Prince is already in there. And then look at this blade collar. Jesus, that blade collar. Did about 900 damage maybe. He then escaped for a little bit off of the lantern, but once the rest of the FlyQuest members get here, beefy old Impact is able to jump into the middle. It doesn't matter. Here comes the Skies Descend. Does hit a nice little shockwave here, but that's gonna be about it. Looks kind of cool.
It looked really cool, to be honest. I mean, that was badass. Unfortunately, it just didn't really do anything because you're down 8,000 gold.
They're a little
Pretty
bit
difficult.
far behind.
Yeah,
Their
their backs are against the wall, man. 12-1. The single kill that they managed to get for CLG was the Olaf kill on the Annie earlier, but there's just not a whole lot for these guys to grab onto. FlyQuest now at sole point, so here in 5 minutes, they'll be able to take another massive power spike unless CLG can find some sort of a miracle and stop it. Tier 2 turret here on the bottom lane just about to fall as well. Remember, these ones are worth a ton of gold.
Here's some more Hopium. There's no teleport on impact, so if CLG forced right now, if they brought all 5 members, they could force a 5v4.
Well, I'm still not quite sure if they're going to win that one because Vicla goes into stasis and they kill the 2 divers while it happens. 2.5 seconds is 2.5 too much. And FlyQuest immediately punish CLG. They'll take the turret in the process. They are 10,000 gold ahead.
When they forced a 5v4, they actually still had their DPS a little bit far away. Luger was not quite in range to instantly follow up. You need both the numbers advantage plus the positioning to actually be able to pull off the huge comeback play that you need when you're down over 10,000 gold. So that one quickly gets turned around. You saw how quickly the front line got annihilated there. Even though Dhokla charges in with Contractz, they just get deleted.
Observers, if we could I look at the gold real quick here? I just wanted to see something. Thank you very much. Impact has 8,500 gold, and the lead is 10,000. So even though it was a 5v4, FlyQuest was still fighting with 1,500 more gold's worth of power in that fight. That's how you know times are tough. Baron is alive, spawned just 15 seconds ago, and FlyQuest knows they are so far ahead in this game, they can just secure the top side of the enemy jungle, put down all the vision, sweep out anything that might be remaining. All you need is one single pick, and you just take Baron and in the game. Yeah,
I mean, FlyQuest have done this so far for the entirety of the season. The one little blip on the radar, that one loss to TSM, the upset, but as soon as that happened to them, they just refocused and they picked up right where they left off, kind of running the LCS. CLG fishing around. If they could get a dream steal here.
It's got to be a YOLO play from Contractz, I think. Palafox flying in.
Burn it down, go for it!
Low. They go in for it, they're gonna find it! CLG steals the Baron. FlyQuest thought they left it at enough HP, but Aurelion Sol just burns the thing up.
Exactly, I love it. When you have the team so far behind, recognize you only have one hope. Try and get a big objective steal, burn it down. They don't actually sacrifice anyone for it. Big blunder by FlyQuest. We instantly caster curse them.
Yeah, man.
As they're trying to finish off this game, and they leave open the Baron at only a few thousand HP. Palafox recognizes it. Dragon, once you max your Q breath, able to hit it over the wall, they burn it down. Contractz just slips right in. Yoinkity yoink, thank you for the leash. And here's another look at how they got themselves into this situation.
All right,
they stopped DPS, but it's still leashed here, and so Palafox just burns it right down with the Q. Contractz already landed his own Q. Dhokla hits the Q over the wall. Contractz takes his Q in. He smites as he arrives with the Q, and since Palafox's breath is still on it, that finishes it off.
Right. The smite took it down to 116 HP, and then it was Palafox's dot plus the Leandries that was able to secure it. So CLG will at least buy themselves a little bit of time there. It makes it harder for FlyQuest to push. It gives CLG a slight foothold, but the deck is very much still stacked against them.
Yeah. Just a little bit of lapse in thought, and I guess that was FlyQuest going full recline super early in this game because of the massive lead.
Yep.
They didn't realize until it's too late. You know, they're looking for the turn. Hey, Spica, you're the big initiation. Get over here, engage on them. But then couldn't get back in the pit in time.
Oh, nice timing on the ulti from Spica there. He waits just until he's at the edge of the range to guarantee that Ragnarok is going to wear off, and then dives him. As Vicla escapes from Palafox Poome here from the top side, it's not even going to matter, man. He's chilling. He's got Tibbers.
Exactly. And he's always got Tibbers in the pocket, turns it back into a 2v2, and then harasses them on their recalls. Can't stop the Aurelian Soul, but it doesn't matter where you are. FlyQuest are running the map. Dragon going to come up in 36 seconds, so they will not over push their hand. They will just pick up their objective. Little bit of safety here since they've given CLG a little bit of a window to come back with that Baron Seal, and they just want to secure it with that Ocean Soul. Make sure you pick up the super high value first before going for anything else.
You were talking in draft about wanting to see how this patch would affect Spica's jungle picks because he played a lot of Maokai, he played a lot of Amumu. His Vi currently has half the kills of FlyQuest. 7-0-6, part of 13 out of 15 of the plays that have been made. The only other player with that much kill participation is Eyla's Rakan. And honestly, FlyQuest have just been having an awesome game all around. The Baron, kind of that one big mishap there, underestimating how quickly Aurelion would be able to burn it down. But now FlyQuest are positioning for this final Drake for themselves. CLG, they know they got to try something here. Yes, it's going to be a desperate play. Yes, it's a low percentage option, but it's probably better than the alternative, so they're just going to go ahead and start this up.
And time is not in their favor, so that's why they're the ones forcing here, even though it's very, very dangerous for them. Spica looking for a little bit of a flank here around on the Vi. They're not looking for a smite steal. They want the fight.
Poome finding the hook. However, now Impact is diving into the remaining players on CLG. FlyQuest keeping focus back on the Drake. As you can see, there comes a big old meteor. The skies descend, but FlyQuest still stands tall. Dhokla looks for a way into the fight, but he won't be able to find it. How will they get the kill? Impact! Massive damage coming in from the AoE of Aphelios. CLG, they stole the Drake. They win the fight. What in the hell is going on here? As Vicla's gonna be chased down, a double kill for Palafox, and Contractz picks up a third. What on earth are CLG eating for breakfast?
They are scaling flowers, and they get another objective bounty shutdown. They deny the Dragon Soul. They pick up the kills. They get the big shutdown, plus another one here, looking for the tower. Prince under turret, though, is still a force to be reckoned with. Blade Caller clears the wave. He calms CLG back down, but that is two back-to-back objective must-win fights for CLG. Look at it. Impact flanks in while the rest of the team is still walking, so a little bit of a chunk of damage there. Then Palafox sets it up. Soul ultimate goes down, the shockwave goes out, softens him up, and Impact stays in one spot there, gets hooked in. He gets hooked in twice. The back-to-back death sentence from Poome, and then the big ultimate from Aphelios. Luger annihilates them with the splash damage. Palafox able to chase down the last little straggling kill there as well, and then Contractz chasing down Vicla. Kicks him in with the Q already on his head. Much needed victories here for CLG. They're pulling it back. We are really just putting them to the test. Aphelios and Aurelion Sol scaling up into these team fights.
Those two did about 10,000 damage between the two of them in the last fight. And even though 3 players on FlyQuest died, Spica just barely got away. He had about 50 health left, dodged a couple of skill shots there in the pit before flashing out, so it could have gone even worse. FlyQuest are still 7,000 gold ahead, but they previously were almost 11,000 gold ahead. So CLG has managed to dig in and defend their ground for now. They still have all 3 inhibitor turrets remaining. Let's see how long they can keep it up.
Yeah, CLG thanking the stars for that IE second change. Having IE on Luger, a big old explosion there.
Thanking the stars. Thank Freak. Freak's out there.
Thank you, Mr.
CLG.
Freak.
Yes.
Everybody, every CLG fan, thank Mr. Freak right now. Appreciate it, buddy. Luger as well. Honestly, now we get to see a little bit more competitive setup here. FlyQuest still with a massive lead, of course, but they're being forced to be much more concentrated in their efforts. They are the ones with the straightforward big dive comp here, so they still are threatening. Complete vision blackout around Baron, then go to Baron. They just have to be much more clean with their turn off of it. Can't leave it around at too low of a health for a steal. Obviously, need to pinpoint their turn on the engaged as well.
So earlier in this game, I made a bit of a sassy comment about how Eyla had more money than Palafox. Palafox has now completed his 3rd major item on Aurelion Soul. He is actually at a greater power point than Vicla is on the Annie. The Banshee's Veil being completed is also going to be great for stopping them from being able to engage on this powerful mid lane here.
Yeah, and going to help him so much with burning through Impact and working through Spica as well, this front line. Since Palafox has the Liandry's burn, and there's a lot of armor on Spica, only magic resist is in his Radiant Virtue, and Palafox really softening up that front line to allow Luger to really work some magic here. If CLG can protect them and get another teamfight victory, plus objective bounty shutdown, then they're really cooking, and they could actually turn this one right back around. FlyQuest, though, they want to get back into position, set up that blockade of vision once again around the Baron.
It's all about Luger. It's all about Palafox. If these two can get the damage done, they still have a chance. Impact wrapping around the top side here. With Baron up, FlyQuest are once again looking for the angle. Although now, they are very, very aware of just how dangerous Aurelian Soul is. The charm, the damage, the burst. Goodbye to Poome. CLG lose their support, and that's the green light for FlyQuest to head into the Baron pit.
Very good pick for FlyQuest. CLG are looking at the cooldowns right now, though. Vi ultimate and Rakan ultimate both used to kill the Thresh. So as far as 4v5s go, they could definitely still look for something with those initiation cooldowns not available. Low health on the Baron. Can they steal it again?
Impact's just trying to keep everybody else away. The Baron falls. It's secured by Spica. FlyQuest are happy to get this objective this time. They made sure to play it careful enough to not give CLG the opportunity to walk Aurelion Sol and Lee Sin close enough for the steal.
Much, much better this time for FlyQuest. Impact is the only one outside. He's playing the bouncer for FlyQuest. Keeps all CLG out of that Baron club. Spica's able to finish it up. No problem for them this time around. Can they repeat on the Dragon Soul? Poome is back on the map. He had back-to-back death sentences that allowed CLG to set up the last time they won the Dragon fight. Can they do it again? Otherwise, FlyQuest's gonna walk this one home.
Aurelian Soul has 330 Stardust. It's about to be even more if he can successfully farm what he needs on that wave. He's got the Skies Descend ready to go again. CLG are going to be too slow to the objective, however, and that means FlyQuest are going to guarantee themselves a Dragon Soul. Now with a TP coming in, CLG knows they have to try to defend against this FlyQuest offensive, and it looks like they will be able to walk this one out. However, FlyQuest still has Baron for another 2 minutes, and you know they're going to be pushing.
Yep, they certainly are. They don't want to give Aurelion Sol any more time to scale. Remember, this champion does scale infinitely with the Stardust. And he's level 16 now. If they can cook up some wave clear here and avoid the dive, then maybe they can buy the time needed. The Vi ultimate is back off cooldown, though.
Easier said than done, as now Contractz is already gonna get killed, but the Skies Descend, and Vicla falls immediately. Dhokla's into the back line. They run down Prince. They've killed the damage, and Palafox is flying into the back lines of FlyQuest. The dragon roars, and FlyQuest dies. CLG managed to get their fight and hold on against the FlyQuest offensive. Impact looks to make his way out, but Palafox is having none of it and runs him down.
CLG, never give up hope, Flowers. Never give up hope. CLG are doing it. They clear another team fight. Gold advantage be damned. They've got a dragon on their team.
Holy cow, man.
Let's take a look at it. So, Contractz will get blown up. Don't let that distract you from the fact that CLG have a massive AoE. Contractz goes in. That is the ultimate from Aurelion Soul. Gets all 4 of them in the center, in the knockup, and they burn down Vicla in the duration. Then Dhokla on the tanky Olaf with the Radiant Virtue, plus the Cleaver, got massive cleave damage off on the back line, forcing Prince back out since he didn't have ultimate either. Burned both the summoner spells, and it's the constant follow-up here and harassment from the dragon off of that charge. Massive, massive stuff from CLG.
That was a very aggressive Xayah ultimate from Prince trying to start the fight off to get the initial burst. It got punished by the Aurelion Soul ulti, and that is Prince's first death this game.
Certainly was. Stopwatch now purchased in the aftermath.
Yeah.
So we'll have another option after ultimate. But as I said, both summoners were also used in that, as you say, very aggressive opening to the team fight by Prince. So won't get the heal back, won't get the flashback. They return to the gates of the CLG base though, and they are going to keep on knocking.
And the game gets more interesting from here because of the fact that that soul has now been claimed by FlyQuest. It means all the future Drakes are going to be Elders. And remember, that's just as valuable for CLG. Previously, if you managed to take one of the Drakes from FlyQuest, it's just a crappy little ocean dragon. He doesn't really mean a whole lot at this point in the game. If you can get an Elder plus Aurelion, you're going to kill him in one burp.
The Omega Dragon burp, baby.
Yeah.
Burn them all down with the Leandries too. It's so effective. You can tag everyone with it. You get the double dots. See if they can actually hold here though. COD doing a very good job wave clearing. Aurelion Soul up to level 17 now. Luger, look at that health bar with the massive shields now available.
445 Stardust.
280 carries.
445 Stardust. The champion hasn't been out long enough for me to be familiar with how Chad that is or not, but it seems pretty Chad.
Definitely is.
Let's
take a look at the execution upgrade on the Singularity.
Burst deals an additional 14%. Okay.
Max health damage, baby.
All right.
Max health, too.
Yeah. By the way, that ulti looks primed and ready to go again.
Nice. And Palafox was just dinged 18 as well. So, FlyQuest, they're very trepidatious now after having been rebuffed 3 times by CLG.
I don't know what that word means, but it sounds
Cautious, basically just cautious.
All right.
It's a cautious with a little splice of scared.
Okay, that's like a $10 word. That's pretty good. I'm gonna have to remember that one.
See them collapse here though after they push in all the waves.
We're getting to the point where that gold lead is going to start meaning less and less and less as these carries do start to hit close to their end game builds. Palafox on 5.5 items just needs to evolve the Oblivion Orb into the Morellonomicon. You can see we're also getting close to Luger's 4th big completed item here. Has the Infinity Edge, has the Bloodthirster. This guy's scary, man. CLG is scary. FlyQuest knows that they can't just keep running into this stuff. They're going to have to play pretty smart, pretty respectfully.
Yeah. I mean, Spica is the only one without a death steal on the team. And it's difficult for him to deal with this dragon since you want to get in there and interrupt the Aurelian Soul. But with the Banshees as well, Palafox has remained very, very safe with so much of the attention being focused on burning through, Contractz or another member of the front line here. Luger and Palafox, if left untouched, they will. Here he comes, though.
They're going after Luger.
They went after...
and Eyla, they just dive bomb into Contractz and take him out. Enemy jungler dead for 50 seconds. Baron is live. FlyQuest knew what they were going for there.
And critically, this time, they just use the Vi engage. They don't use the Rakan engage. They don't use the Annie engage either. So FlyQuest, they still have multiple tools to check CLG, and they know without your jungler, there's no hope in CLG coming over to try for a steal, and they definitely don't want the fight with FlyQuest still having so many abilities that they can turn off the Baron and engage and pick on them. So it's just going to be another Baron picked up for FlyQuest, setting up for our Elder Dragon fight that you've been looking forward to so much, Flowers.
This is where it all goes down. Contractz is still dead for another 5 seconds, so CLG can't even approach with their full strength until he's back online. FlyQuest are going to be first ones down into the river. They're the ones with control right now. Palafox only needs to breathe a little bit onto that blue buff, just guarantee that he can take the whole thing. That mana is going to be very useful in what I'm guessing will probably be a pretty drawn-out affair. But FlyQuest are immediately just going to start up the Drake. Contractz has made his way down here. CLG are ready to try to fight, try to challenge for this. The Elder's still being burned down, but not super quickly. CLG still looking for the angle. Palafox drops the ulti and the skies descend. FlyQuest scatter. CLG still looking to make their fight. In the back line goes Eyla. He finds multiple knockdowns, multiple TCs. FlyQuest are going in, and they found the kill into Luger. CLG are absolutely crushed as Poome and Contractz barely hold on to life. And Impact ready to rip it away from them. Contractz tries to use a stopwatch, but the clock ticks ever forward, and time's run out for CLG. FlyQuest finally get their fight. They knew what they were walking into. They knew how to get it done. And after 37 minutes, they're going to find their win.
And they're going to finish it off with Big Dokes here. Big Dokes trying to cut the minion wave, but there's already members inside the base. He knows it's been lost. They're going to give up the Nexus towards FlyQuest with a much better initiation that time around, Flowers. It was Eyla who got 4 members locked up in the Rakan combo, and that caused Luger to use everything. After Luger uses double summoners out of the Rakan initiation, Spica hits him with the Vi ultimate, and the CLG resistance collapses.
Honestly, the game showed off just how dangerous Aurelion Soul can be as a scaling option. Remember that this game was what? 10,000 gold, almost 11,000 gold lead for FlyQuest just 21 minutes into the game. And then CLG manages to steal a Baron. CLG manages to win a couple of team fights. They had no business staying alive in that game as long as they did, but they dug in, they held on. It wasn't enough. That early game, absolutely crushing from FlyQuest.
And a quick little reminder not to let Aphelios roam free in your team fights either, as they're able to correctly layer some really nice CC.